Hi, Cassandra. This is a really interesting start. In all the times I've taught this class, no one's ever approached this by giving us this history of the cities um, that and the financial concerns regarding the applicant cities. This is good stuff. I think this is really relevant. Actually, I take that back. I'm not so sure this is relevant to the project, but darn, it sure is interesting. And these images, oh my God, they're almost depressing that this stuff just gets abandoned. But I guess, I guess that's what happens. I mean, it just gets abandoned, right? I mean, what are you going to use a bobsled track for other than bobsledding? It's weird. It's just weird. This is just almost surreal. Anyway, so I think you have a lot of really good stuff in here, but like I said, I think for your final presentation next week, we should just really consider this to be good, solid background information. And I think that this is where it gets good though, but I think a good portion of this can be used in research past Olympic Games and study culture of the region in which your games will be held. So we got questions to answer here. Well, for the final, I'm just been kind of requesting that everybody kind of stick to this format right here. This is an outline, so to speak, so that, stakeholder groups would be one of your headlines. Next headline, client goals and objectives. Then another headline, product and service knowledge. And just kind of format your paper like that so that we're all on the same page and it's real easy for us to take a look at each other's work, compare it to our own to see, where we can both improve. Okay. So you start to get into stakeholder groups right here. So that introduction thing I thought was really, really interesting. Really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we have our International Olympic Committee. What I would like you to do is take just a kind of a little glance, a glancing statement about why and what part these organizations play. Okay, and why they could be important, potentially be important to an applicant city. Client goals and objectives. This is great. This is a great job. I like this very much. Good job. But then we have levels of communication, which you don't really talk much about levels of communication. You get into some really interesting patterns and some visual studies. That's awesome. But what are we going to do with them? What exactly are we going to use in our graphics? And that goes from everything from environmental graphics to signage to architecture, building graphics, bridges, Olympic Village graphics, banners, transportation graphics, et cetera, et cetera. Interference and potential opportunities. I think that's a really interesting and important area to include. I didn't really see that here in your work here. And then go to the second part, and then just while you define that, then let's go in and start with your research of past games. Talk about the culture of the American West. How do you plan on using it? Are you going to use recent culture of the American West or ancient, American Indian, Native American culture? There's a few things that you will need to decide in which direction you'd like to go. Research forms of communication used in the Olympics, like tickets, signage, logo, architecture, and I just kind of mentioned that as some of the possibilities that you could possibly use. Definitely, I think it's very, very important to look at visual solutions and everything from geology to geography to local art, regional art styles, and even ancient indigenous styles of art, music, and ancient indigenous cultures of the land to look at some possible visual solutions as well. Create a plan on how these precedents will inspire you to design solutions. That's basically you finishing your report saying, okay, this is what I got, this is how I plan on using it. And then end that thing with a mission statement. And that's really important. That's like you could even begin with this mission statement. As far as I'm concerned, this mission statement is a kind of a mini thesis telling exactly what are we doing here. What is the project? What are the future phases? And what is the strategic plan of action? Okay, but what you have is good stuff. And I like this too. I think your beginning and your end are really super interesting. Some of the facts that you have, you're good at research because there's some stuff here that I haven't seen before. Like I said, I've taught this class quite a bit. So great job on your resources, your citations, and I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Can't wait to get into next week to see really where the intention lies. Awesome job, Cassandra. Thank you.